Welcome to Using Mean as a Team, Understanding T-Tests and Research by Shelby Kinsall and Katie McDaniel. In this video, we will discuss the different types of T-tests and when each is appropriate for use. So what is a T-test? A T-test is a hypothesis test used by a researcher to examine how the means taken from two independent samples reliably differ. There are three main types of t-test: an independent samples test, which compares the means for two groups, a paired sample t-test, which compares the means from the same group at different times, and a one-sample test that compares the mean of a single group against a known mean. Let's explore each in further detail. The independent samples t-test is a regular two-sample t-test where you're comparing the means for two unique sample groups and has the following assumptions. There are only two groups, all data points are independent, the sample size is small, and the sample values are accurately recorded. By taking a random sample of each group separately under different conditions, your samples are independent, and you should run an independent samples t-test for which the null hypothesis assumes the means are equal. You then determine reliability by calculating the degrees of freedom. A larger t-value indicates the groups are different, whereas a smaller t-value indicates that the groups are similar. In research, an independent samples t-test was utilized to compare the prevalence of self-reported depressive symptoms in women and men with the symptoms as measured by the Beck Depression Inventory, which found that there are gender differences in depressive symptoms experienced by patients hospitalized for acute coronary syndrome. Now let's look at the paired samples t-test, which is a statistical test applied when the two samples are dependent and paired observations are taken, where there are two groups of scores, participants in the group are tested more than once, observations at 2 points in time are the focus, and differences between the two are subtle. Choose the paired t-test if you have two measurements on the same item, person, or thing. You should also choose this test if you have two items that are being measured with a unique condition. A paired sample t-test compares means from the same group at different times, such as 1 year apart. Researchers used the paired t-test to analyze changes in hemoglobin A1C levels among diabetics who participated in a quality improvement study using peer supporters to determine its effectiveness. The same group of diabetics was tested twice to compare the initial A1C levels with the levels following the peer support intervention. Finally, the one-sample t-test, or z-test, is a statistical test applied to determine whether the sample mean is different from a known or hypothesized population mean. Along with these assumptions, it's important to note that there was only one group being tested and there are no outliers. The one-sample t-test compares the mean of a single group against a known mean, or even a gold standard, which is a universally recognized standardized measurement, such as the Wechsler Intelligence Scales, that measure IQ. In research, a one-sample t-test was used to identify and rank the criteria for green supplier selection in the petrochemical industry, and the results show that quality is the most important criteria. Researchers combined the t-test results with other scales to develop a hybrid approach to resolving a supplier's criteria ranking problem. It is always the researcher's responsibility to design experiments to fulfill all of the conditions of their statistic methods of choice and to ensure that their statistical assumptions are appropriate. We hope that our presentation helped add clarity to these statistical tests and their use.